We got Pascal.
Please.
The receiver.
Yeah, I ain't bragging. I said please too. Don't get me wrong. He better than what we got. He better than Rager, but it still was a please signing though, definitely.
PFF had Pascal ranked 94th out of 94 wide receivers.
All right, so welcome to another episode of League with No Names for Beans. We got J.A. here. We got Moose back after a week off.
Your boy.
How's everybody feeling today?
You know, feeling good. He's scared of me. That's what it is. He don't want to hear about that. He don't want to hear that CD talk.
I don't know where Cheese is. Hold on, let me turn this off.
He know I got some things to talk to him about.
Yeah, I don't know where Cheese is. I was telling Moose, it's like we only get one of them per week. It's every other week they switch off. They never here together at the same time.
Probably in Hartford by the LA Fitness doing whatever.
Bad random yesterday. All right, so a lot of stuff going on, off-season trades, free agent pickups. I think the easiest way to do it is kind of go by position instead of what the biggest moves were. So let's start with quarterbacks. D. Watt went to Cleveland. What's your initial reaction to that move?
I mean, I like it. I feel like it was better. I mean, no disrespect to J.A., but I feel like it was the best situation to go to as far as team-wise. It was better than going to Atlanta. I feel like the Browns have a good defense already there. The line could be better, but it's not horrible. They got a lot of weapons. They have Hunt there. They got Chubb. With D. Watt, they still got Joku there. So they say what?
They picked up Cooper too.
Yeah. So they got some weapons over there, and I feel like that was a better situation for me to go to.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on Jay?
Yeah, it was definitely the better team. I wanted to see him come home, but like I said before, chasing him would put I guess you put an end to Matt Ryan's career in Atlanta just because what he's dealing with, legally, going all in for Watson. I think that was the best team for him. They got a defense set up already. Offenses, they could take off. We got probably the best running game, best duo, one of the best duos in the league. So you get him there, and they traded for they traded for Coop, right? Yeah, they traded for Coop. So out of the teams that were, I just didn't want to see him go to the Saints, honestly. That's division rival. So him going there, I think that puts Cleveland right back in the mix of things in the tough AFC North. So sucks, but I think that was the better fit, and they had the money too. We would have been strapped for years, like giving up what they gave up. They gave up like a first and a third, first and fourth next year, and first and third year after that. So with a rebuilding team, you can't really lose that much, for one player. So, it was the right move for him, and you get $230 million guaranteed. You can't turn that down. So, yeah. I see why. You know what I mean? So it makes sense.
So, offensively, they got a great running game, but do they have enough weapons in the passing game for them to be a contender? They got Coop, but after that, who do they really have?
Schwartz, Peoples-Jones, they're going to have to step up. Peoples-Jones made strides. He stepped up in spot moments, but when you got Watt with the ball in his hands, he can make anyone be better than what they really are. He plays alive. Just being in a winning atmosphere. We see what he did in Houston with guys who probably wouldn't be on the field. You already know, Kiki, Booty.
And that's the thing too, man. It's like that's a question. I know everybody like saying it's a no-brainer, but like I be thinking to myself, what is Watt now? Like, you know what I'm saying? With that year off, with all that mental stress going on with him, like he like quarterback is a rhythm. It's a rhythm position. Like, you know what I mean? If you get off that rhythm for a year with a lot of stress and mental buildup, you know what's going to happen when you come back on that field.
He'll get suspended too, so he's going to be on a couple more games. So, but I think he'll be fine.
I want to see how he is when he return.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
That's a good point. I didn't really think about that, but the year off definitely could do a little bit of harm. You never know. I think he's the type of guy that should be able to bounce back. Cheese just jumped in.
He's still young.
Yeah. I was going to say, Cheese jumped in. You could jump right in with your thoughts. What was your thoughts on the D-Watt trade?
He out of the division. We good. He out of the division. I don't got nothing to worry about. I mean,
out of the division first, still ain't help y'all out.
Oh, here you go. I mean, I think it was a good trade. It helped out both teams. Houston believes in Davis Mills, I guess. They get a lot of draft capital.
Yeah, he got a lot.
The Browns got the best quarterback ever. He ain't even play a snap yet. So, I mean, the weapons that he got, Chubb, Hunt, Coop, and Joku, I think they should be fine. I mean, he led the league in passing yards with Will Fuller as his wide receiver 1, so I don't think he'll have a problem producing.
Yeah.
It's DY.
They got a defense. Yeah.
It's DY. He's out of my division. I don't care. Good for him.
So with him there now and Baker pretty much forcing his way out, regardless of what the Browns were going to do, where do we see Baker ending up this year? What are the options?
It's kind of rough. It's kind of tough to see because, like, everyone that needed a quarterback, they kind of took care of business already. Or you got a young guy, you're not going to bring in Baker to step on his toes like the young guys. The fact how it happened and so close to the draft, he's going to probably have to wait until after, honestly, to see what teams do.
Man, I heard Hillhouse
somebody probably got to get hurt.
What you say, Moose?
Hillhouse looking for a QB. Please. Ain't nobody checking for Baker. Cut it.
It's not even about trading for him. I was trying to tell the chat. It ain't about trading for Baker. It's Cleveland just gave up picks. So why would you send picks back to Cleveland? It makes no sense for nobody to just release him because Cleveland just gave up 2 picks a year for DY. You'd be a fool to send Cleveland something back. Like, nah, like I'm not helping you out. Like, you already know you have to release him because you signed Jacoby Brissett. So
they got Brissett and Baker, huh?
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to release him. There's no reason for me to. I'm not gonna give you a third after you just lost a third because you want to get rid of Baker. Release Baker. You can release Baker, and you're not. That's where I feel like the Baker.
How many years Baker got on his contract though?
This year he probably got the 5th-year option, I think.
Probably.
Yeah, so
maybe what, his 4th year coming up?
You think you don't think they will try to trade him?
Yeah, he came in after. He came in before J. Jeff. So this got to be Baker's 4th year coming up. But honestly, yeah, like that's just the nature of the game. That's why they try to release cats or before, like, agency or whatever. The way Baker fell, like it kind of sucks for him. He's like, man, out right now, especially with the Colts taking Matt Ryan. So, I mean, it really just leaves like Pitt in Seattle. Now, how would you trade? Like, you could get your quarterback for the future in the draft if you wanted.
Yeah.
It's only a 1-year rental because they're going to decline that 5th-year option.
Exactly.
Nobody's paying Baker $20 million unless he comes out and have a 1,000-yard season.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper to draft. Now you get that extra rookie deal instead of a guy that's about to end on his rookie deal. You get that extra rookie deal. And then, Baker just fell at the wrong time. Like, he's a serviceable starter. Like, he's not, like, they be killing me. Like, he's a serviceable starter, but if the options aren't there like that, no team is going to reach for Baker right now, especially coming off a shoulder injury. That's why him and Jimmy G haven't been traded yet. Like, it's just, this was a bad offseason for him.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough situation. I mean, who knows? He might not even be a starter next year, depending on what the situation is. Kind of that fall from grace. That fall from grace has been kind of crazy because a year or two ago, he led him to the playoffs, and people were saying, he's just the savior of Cleveland.
Last year, he led him to the playoffs, and then he tried to be Superman this year, got hurt, and that bit him in the butt. Now he's got to have shoulder surgery, and now you're rehabbing, and now the quarterback, the quarterback lingo has just been crazy right now. Like, we've seen dudes move, dudes stay, dudes come back. I'm pretty sure Tampa would have been an option if Brady never came back, but that takes a spot off the thing. A-Rod coming back, that takes the job off. Like, it sucks, but it's the nature of the game.
Yeah, so the whole DY thing kind of caused a bit of a trickle-down effect with the Falcons.
He can start in Philly, though. He can start in Philly. Boy, be day one starter.
Here you go. Well, I was saying the DY situation caused a trickle-down effect. DY situation caused a trickle-down effect to the Falcons because they were in the running, and then things kind of soured slightly with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan ends up in Indianapolis. So what were your thoughts on that, Jay?
That's great for him. That's the best line he ever going to see. Like, he's never been protected. Sad to say. Like, we've had good lines, but we ain't had no Quentin Nelson there. Like, we ain't had none of them dudes. Probably his best running back since we had Michael Turner. They get some receivers. I mean, shit, you know how that defense could ball. That defense was always around top 5 in the league. So you get him about you get a line behind. You get Matt Ryan behind a line, he can work. Like, he gets a lot of slack, but like Matt Ryan was playing behind a bad line and playing with Kyle Pitts, and he still has one of the best completion percentages in the league. He gets a lot of slack because he has to make the most out of nothing. You throw into Russell Gage and Zacchaeus, they're not number 2s or 3s if on a good day. Like, they're probably 3s and 4s. So
yeah,
they'll see. Mechanic wise, like, he's one of the best. He knows the game. Obviously, he's not. He's slow, but shit, you got Jonathan Taylor back there. That play action game is going to be beautiful. He's gonna have fun out there in Indy. That division, sorry too. He's got to worry about the Titans. And it was big for him. He's still indoors, so I think they said they only had like 3 possible cold weather games if he had to deal with, like, it was like New England. I forget who else. Probably the Titans if they play later in the year, and somebody else. So
we play the West this year, so he probably got to play. Probably Denver if they play late, depending on the schedule.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Denver. Yeah, so it depends. If they played him early, he mostly nice weather to indoors, so that works well for them too.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the fit in Indianapolis, Moose? You like it?
I like it a lot. I mean, I like Matty Ice, man. I feel like he do his thing, man. I mean, wait, what? He took a jump.
You going to draft him?
I like Matty, man. You know what I mean? He puts up numbers like quietly, like even like the year when I had him like 2 years ago, I think he was like number 3 or 2 in passing yards, whatever. So he always up there in the top for passing yards. So for fantasy or whatever, even producing wise, I think he can do better than Wentz. Wentz was one game out the playoffs. They was.
Yeah,
Wentz losing to the Jags.
Say that again?
I said, Wentz up. We know we can do better than Wentz.
I mean, Wentz had him right one game off the playoffs. If Wentz didn't collapse that last game of the season, they would have been in the playoffs.
In the worst division in football, and you lost to the Jags. Dude, Matt Ryan, bro, they ain't close.
Yeah, I think Matt Ryan could bring them to the playoffs, definitely, with that team they got there. The team is already set up ready for him there. So, yeah. I like it.
So, I'm going to ask this to everybody, but I'll start with Cheese. We see D-Wad go to Cleveland, who has a good team, but a tough division. And we see Matt Ryan go to Indianapolis, which might have not quite as good of a team all around, I think, but in a weaker division. So which of those 2 teams with the new quarterback is more likely to make the playoffs next year, you think?
Oh, Matty Ice for sure.
Who's the 2 teams?
The Browns or the Colts?
That division is tough. I think the AFC West and the AFC North, they're gonna beat up on each other because we know Mike Tomlin he's around 9-8, probably 10-7. We know Baltimore when healthy what they can do. We know the Browns have talent around them. Now they have a great quarterback, and you got Burrow. That defense is gonna beat each other up. And then the AFC South is just us and the Colts. It was us last year, and then the Colts was right behind us. Matty Ice is better than Carson Wentz. They still got a lot of cap. They're still talent out in free agency. Matty Ice got a running back. He about to get some weapons. They ain't gonna not get weapons. So I just think they came in second in the division. They're gonna have a lighter schedule. I think it should be the Colts for sure.
What do you think, Jack?
Definitely the Colts. Just seeing what the AFC North did overall. Even with D-Watt, you still got to deal with the Bengals just upgraded. Ravens always give you the best game of the year for some reason. They just one of the hardest teams to put away, whether they're, dealing with injuries or not. And the Steelers are the Steelers. They get a quarterback, you never know. And Mike Tomlin always got them ready, no matter who he got back there. So I'll say the Colts because right now, Jags, they spent money, but, they're still in a process of transitioning. You got the Jags and you got the Texans who are really rebuilding right now too. So you could beat the Colts twice. I mean, if you can beat the Titans twice, that's probably like a cakewalk for you right now in the division. So that game's gonna be big. Instead of worrying about the whole division, he's got to worry about one team.
Yeah,
he look like Mike Tomlin right now with that yellow and black on.
This is blue, boy.
I think the same thing. I'm thinking Colts. With Matty Ice got a better chance to me. Everyone hit on everything I would say with the division and how the team's set up. So definitely.
Yeah, I probably would agree. All right, so we talked about quarterbacks. Let's move on to wide receivers. We have some monster trades. So let's start with Davante Adams going to the Raiders. Initial thoughts on that? That was shocking to happen.
You tell us your initial thoughts.
My initial thoughts was like I said, I was shocked. But the more I think about it, and I know y'all gonna think I'm lying, like I said in the chat, but I'm not.
Oh God.
He had to get his money.
I'm happy that he got his money. And I also think you can never replace Tay, but I think this gives us the opportunity to get a couple of good receivers, good veteran, pick up somebody, get a couple of guys in the draft. And if you watch the San Francisco game, I think one of the main reasons we lost other than special teams is that Rodgers was locked in on Tay the whole game. He made a bunch of bad throws. He was locked in. He didn't trust the rest of his receivers. You take him out of the equation, and it creates a system where you gotta work the system. You gotta look at all your reads. You gotta go to Lazard. You gotta go to MVS if he comes back. You gotta use your running back. So I think in the end it could be good, but of course I think Tay is still the best wide receiver in the game. But I think it could be helpful for us to make us more well-rounded. And with that extra money, we re-signed Campbell, we re-signed Douglas, we got Tanyan back. So the defense is going to be there. We just need a couple wide receivers. So what do y'all think about it?
I'm going to have to go out to the Green Bay, man. I'm going to have to warm up. Green Bay might need moves. The slot or something.
We got enough in the slot.
You jump off sides. I like it.
I like it.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I like out there in Raiders, man. I heard him and Carr were teammates in college, so it might have a connection still. Carr is not bad, man. He's not bad at all. He has inconsistent here and there, but I think with Tay and the better weapons around him, he could do good.
Yeah. What do you think, Jack?
That added motivation that how that division is shaping up. Everybody's motivated to play with all the new stars and new weapons. Everyone's going to the that division in AFC West. So that's motivation right there for him to want to play better. So I feel like him and Carr could do some work.
Yeah.
I like it. It sucks, but I always felt like it was in the works, him and Carr getting back together. Like it was always rumor, like, Carr and Tay, teaming back up. That's what Tay wanted too. I mean, something different. Like he said, he had family out in Cali that could never see him play, so he used to go back home. Even though he in Vegas, but they was in Oakland before. Yeah, so I like it for the Raiders. Carr really never had a true number one like that. Like they've been leaning on Brian Edwards to be that guy. Now you bring in Tay, who you have.
Yeah, Maury, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't. That was one of his best years, I think. And then I think
he had some good numbers with Maury. I think
I don't know if Coop was there yet. He tore his the year Carr got hurt. They went to the playoffs. I don't know if Coop was there yet. That was his best year. But now you get Tay there with you already know Waller and Renfro. They work. So you add that with you got a steady run game with Jacobs. Man, Scott's looking for them because you have to double Tay, and if you don't want to double Tay, he's just going to kill everybody single coverage. And Carr showed last year before Ruggs incident, he showed like he could throw the deep ball and he could be, one of the best passers in the league when he's on his game. So it sucks, but I see Green Bay side of it too because it's you can't pay everybody too. So and one receiver don't win the Super Bowl for you. So I mean you can't replace them, but you could put guys in spots to be better. Some guys are gonna have to step up, and you still got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So whether it's Tay or anybody else, like Aaron Rodgers can still make the throws. They just gonna have to take their game to another level. So I like it for both sides, and it'll be interesting to see how both teams play out this year. With losing a star and then in a better division for the Raiders.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we don't take a wide receiver in the first round. Hopefully, one of those top 3 or 4 guys is still on board. So.
Finally, y'all gonna do it, huh?
I mean,
Yeah, I hope so.
I can't imagine that there wasn't a conversation that Rodgers had with him before re-signing because he knew Tay wasn't coming back. So I can't imagine he said, like, I'm not going to come back unless there's something in place that we're taking a top guy in the draft because you got to have somebody to replace. You can't replace, but somebody to fill that role of a number one guy, at least over time. He might not be the guy this year. You got to have to develop, but you never know. You might get a Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase type of guy with, step right in. What was your thoughts, Cheese, though?
I like it. I think it was fair. I mean, I got a lot of draft capital, cleared up cap space, dog to go with Wilder and Renfro. I mean,
Wilder and Tay.
What'd you say?
Wilder and Tay?
Please don't leave us out. Please don't leave us out.
Renfro?
Renfro
is like
please,
that.
I mess with Renfro.
We like that.
I don't know. It's just that division
we
is
like
going to beat each other up. That division is crazy. You got Chandler Jones, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson. You got all these dogs that just Russell Wilson. First half of the season.
Man, I think we play the AFC West. I think.
We do too. We play the AFC West.
It's slow. It's slow.
He said it's slow.
It's slow. Yeah. We could beat Russ though. If we play him after week 5, we could beat Russ. I hate Russ. Russ is king.
So among other wide receivers moving, we saw another monster trade yesterday. Tyreek Hill going to the Dolphins. That threw me off a little bit. I mean, you got to go get your money, but man, that situation is nothing like it was for the Chiefs. So what do we think about that move for both sides?
I like it for the Dolphins, yo. Mike McDaniel he's a clever coach. He don't get a lot of credit because he got that look of a brainiac, but we had him in 2016, and he was already working his way up. Like, he was working with the quarterbacks and all that, being offensive. So he was working with LaFleur and Shanahan. So, his way of using people and putting guys in spots, him and Waddle are going to be nice. They give Tua a lot of people laugh at Tua. Tua just don't throw deep, but Tua is one of the most accurate passers in the league. Like, his completion percentage is top 5 in the league. So, all you need is a slant to Tyreek, and it's to the crib or Waddle. Like, they picked up Chase Edmonds. I like that. They got Teron Armstead. He just signed there. So, they not. Hey, you gonna have to guard.
They still got Gesicki too. Gesicki there.
Yeah.
And they got 2 first-round picks. They got 2 first-round picks next year. So Miami could make some damage happen, especially in the AFC. I mean, how many wins they had last year?
They just missed the playoffs. 8, 9? Around there. They just missed it. Because they lost. They started the season like 1-5, and they won like 7 in a row. They just missed it the last few games. Daniel's mind is gonna be like he's a Shanny protege. So man, it's gonna be nice.
See how San Fran ran their offense is gonna be so similar to that. Their Teron Armstead is their Trent Williams. They got Chase Edmonds. They got
Mostert. Yeah.
They got dogs over there. It's just
putting it together.
Yeah, putting it all together in that division. The Patriots gonna be the Patriots, and the Bills is a contender. So it's his first year being a head coach, so you just got to put it together. But if you can put it together, that team going to make some noise.
Yeah, what do you think, Moose?
I know how I feel about Reed. I mean, he a dog, man. But he just not a true number 1 wide receiver. Like, so he going to create separation. He's so fast. So, like, it's inevitable for him to create that separation. But I feel like it's going to be, like you guys said, it's going to be big on the coach on creating ways to get him the ball and getting him in space, because I don't feel like he's going to dog you like number 1, a true number 1 like that. You're going to have to find plays and ways. A lot of that is on Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. A lot of people don't see that because he's so flashy, he's so fast, so you don't really you kind of blind you with that. You got to think about Mike McDaniel's ways, though. He used Ayuk and Debo in different ways. Debo's not a guy that's going to line up outside the numbers every play. He moved Debo around. He moved Ayuk around. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying.
But he's not. Reek is not that guy that's going to be. He doesn't have the stature or like the size to be outside the numbers every play, and that's not where he's most effective. Reek is effective at any spot on the field, so you can't just leave him outside the numbers because that takes away from certain routes you can run. Like you're not running an over route from outside the numbers. Just like if you're in the slot, now you have a multitude of ways you can do anything. But Taylor with Reek, that opens it up for Waddle, and no better coach has done that than Mike McDaniel. When he was in San Fran, they never had a true number one in San Fran. You say Debo's your number one, but you've seen Debo play running back. You've seen Debo play in the slot. Debo can get a direct snap. Now you put Waddle with Reek. Sky's the limit for them. What they could do on offense, he could get very creative with those two. And you still got Davante Parker out there. So, and they signed Cedric Wilson from the Cowboys. That's speed. Like that's legit.
So let's look at some of this from a fantasy perspective. With Tay and Reek on a move, both top 5 wide receivers, who has the better fantasy season with the new team?
Oh, it's Tay. It's Tay for the next 2-3 years. It's Tay.
So even with he's gonna lose, he's definitely gonna lose targets because he's not gonna be the only guy anymore. So you still think he'll have enough volume to be a number 1 fantasy type receiver and more than Reek.
Yes,
yeah,
because
Reek in the same kind of position. He ain't gonna get crazy targets either. You got Chase Edmonds, you got Waddle, who 1,000 yards, 100 catches. You got Gesicki.
Two don't throw like Mahomes.
Yeah, so it's gonna be Carr gonna throw the ball. Josh Jacobs ain't as effective as a running back, so it's gonna be Waller, Renfro, Tay, Waller, Tay, Renfro, Tay, Waller. I mean, in Miami, it's going to be, let's get Chase Edmonds going. With Mike McDaniels, he's going to run the ball.
Run the ball. Yeah.
He's going to run the ball. Tyreek's going to get a run play. Waddle's going to get a run play. Waddle's going to get a screen. Reek's going to get a screen. So they're both going to get targets, but it's just the ways that you can, as far as fantasy in a PPR league, take a catch for Tay, that's 1 point. He's going to get 10 yards. That's 2 points. Reek, 11-yard run, that's 1.1 points. So as far as fantasy goes, I'm going with Tay.
Who was the other receiver out there in the Raiders when Cooper was there?
Brian Edwards.
Michael Crabtree. Was it Michael Crabtree?
We said Cooper was out there. It was Crabtree.
Yeah. I remember. I remember because I'm back in fantasy. It was like Crabtree week. Then it was Cooper week. Crabtree week. Cooper week. It was like it was going sick with Carr that year. So I think Carr could do it, man, with them weapons.
Yeah, I think Tay will have a better year, but I don't know if it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be as big of a gap as y'all are making it out to seem. I think they're going to spread the ball around a little more. At times, they will force it to Tay. And I also think Rodgers and Tay kind of made each other because I think Rodgers can make a lot of throws that Carr can't make. Carr is a good quarterback. He's going to make throws. But there's certain plays you see Rodgers throwing in certain windows that I don't know if Carr is going to be able to throw into.
Crazy.
So, I mean, I think they'll have a good season, but I think Tay will be just a little bit better. So, as far as quarterbacks, we've seen Rodgers lose his guy. Mahomes.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's another wide receiver trade. Don't play my boy.
I'm going to come back to that. But I'm talking about certain things.
He like Robert Woods now?
Relax.
I might have to get his jersey, you know?
He's not in this particular
Please.
conversation just yet.
Look at Wizard Kelly. Show your face.
Please.
Fuck out of here.
Please. Anybody worry about damn Woods? It ain't Robert Woods.
I'm one of the first people that went golfing in the woods, man. Yeah, I was not ready.
I mean, I had Woods a lot, so that's my guy.
Yeah, you know I work. You know I work.
Wait,
my quarterback not racist, baby. We're gonna get the job done. We're gonna get my boy the ball.
Well, Tennessee is racist, bro.
Wait,
Robert Woods, he gonna fit out there.
All right, so we already have Woods. Let's just talk about Woods since we're here. John want to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
But, initial reaction, Cheese, since he's coming to your team. What are your thoughts?
It fits us. He's a great run blocker as a receiver. We need somebody dynamic with the ball in their hands.
You love country music.
And on top of that, we love getting players that's hurt. So it just fits us, you know? We love getting players that's hurt. So drafted Caleb Fairley, Jeffrey Simmons, torn ACLs. I mean, that's what we do. That's what J-Rob do. He get injured players on a bargain, and it usually works.
That's that Julius from Everybody's Chris cell over there, boy. They get the damage good.
Yeah, you feel me? Next year's 6th-round pick for Bobby Trees, I take it. And they paid the bonus. Got a $10 million cap hit. Gotta get healthy. AJ gonna take off. Bobby Trees come back. It's go time. DH healthy.
So
number one seed again, Jay. You're number one seed again. You're
not even close.
With what the Colts did, is that piece enough to make the offense good enough to be the number one team in that division still?
Yeah, because we got our defense is still there. As long as our defense is there, I think we got a chance. I like what the Colts did. I think they're neck and neck with us. So it all depends how the season plays out, injuries and luck and all that type of stuff. But I mean, I don't think we're done because we just restructured KB's contract and Julio money doesn't hit until June 1st. So I think we still got just give me Gilmore on a 2-year deal. You feel me? And I'm good. And I think that solidifies us, but I think it's close right now with the Colts.
Moose, why you shaking your head, Moose?
They get weapons, huh?
I said, Moose, why you shaking your head?
They trash, bro. I can't front those like these.
I knew he was gonna say that. Yo, he hates them.
I hate them, bro. Like, don't get me wrong.
Too.
Like these last couple of years, they've been putting it together, but they're trash.
But you know they're not gonna finish. You know they're not gonna finish.
We are who we are, yo. We're like we're gonna get to the playoffs. We know we're gonna get to the playoffs. We just gotta get over the hump. It's just that's all it is. I mean,
like Gabe said, baby shower colors.
The Eagles, y'all division just as bad as ours.
Gender reveal?
NFC East is just as bad as AFC South, and the Eagles don't be making noise. So I don't know how we trash. You got 2 running backs in the roster.
Yeah.
Nah. The Eagles, we hurting right now, but
y'all always hurting.
Nah.
What do you say? 2-tone blue?
Jay, let me ask you this: how much of a hit do you think Woods takes in terms of fantasy value, being on a run-first team now, like the Titans?
Can't be no worse than the hit he took last year with that racism in LA. So, man, hey, Woods don't get enough credit, and I always say this: Woods is so underrated that his value does not get seen. Woods could be a sick number 2 if we seen it though. Like we seen it in LA, like when he was with the when he had golf. For some reason, the way Kupp and Stafford connected, it made Woods look like he was, replaceable. Woods is sick. Woods is going to be a great number 2 to AJ because he do all the little things. He don't need the ball to be effective. Like he could spring somebody for a block for 15 yards. He could take a end around for 25. Like I always love Woods' game because I didn't notice him until after Buffalo because you know how, black receivers in Buffalo don't really look good. But once he went there, I'm like, yo, Woods can be so effective. Like it's just, it doesn't pop out on the stat sheet or even like you just not watching him like that. But he can do every little thing that a receiver is supposed to do. Like he doesn't have to do it great. He just does everything good. And the way Tennessee plays, all right, you leaning on Derrick Henry. Well, guess what? I just hit Woods for, a crosser for 25 yards because you peeking in the backfield. So he's going to be a nice piece out there. I'm tight he went there because he wanted to be there too. That's sad. It's sad.
He wanted to be there out of the options that he had. I mean, I don't know what the other teams.
Yeah, I mean, you're coming off an ACL. Yeah, coming off an ACL injury.
Yeah. So we got a couple of minutes left. To end on this question I was going to ask before. Try to get into your minds in terms of how you're going to draft this season. Your thoughts on like the ratings. So I was saying a lot of different things we're seeing with the quarterbacks. Pat doesn't have his number 1 wide receiver anymore. Rodgers doesn't have his D. Watson back. He's in a new environment. So right now, if you're putting your team together, who's your number 1 fantasy quarterback? I feel like it's okay to ask that because we got plenty of time and things will change. So at this moment, who's your number 1 fantasy quarterback?
Mine right now, Josh Allen.
Why?
Why not?
He's
gonna be the leader.
Honestly,
he's gonna be the leader rusher. They got the same weapons. If it's not Josh Allen,
it's Herbo for me.
Herbo,
because they're not getting off the field. Herbo. Like I know Brandon Staley is going to have him max out. He don't care if they losing or winning. Herbo is going to be throwing the ball, so I know that's a guarantee. Whereas you saw Mahomes, you get a little run game, they want to throw. You already know Eckler's going to get nicks and injuries real quick. He's going to be hurt. So Herbo's going to have the ball in his hand a lot. So I think it's between Allen and Herbo. And I wouldn't sleep on Burrow either.
Stafford. I go Stafford too. Stafford and Burrow.
As much as I hate Stafford,
Stafford got Allen Robinson now. That's the best wide receiver duo in my opinion now. They let go Robert Woods. Now you got Allen Robinson as your wide receiver too. Cam Akers comes back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they still dangerous. Another year underneath that offense with that type of coach, I think they should
Mariota,
still.
number one. Mariota.
Yo, good luck. Yo, who your backup quarterback?
Draft.
Draft. Yeah, get him ready. Get him ready. He gonna get hurt.
Real quick, Moose. Real quick. Who's your top QB right now?
I don't know. It's tough, man.
Cam Newton.
It's tough. I like
Jordan
Joey.
Love?
I like Joey. I like Pat Mahomes. Josh Allen, another one.
See, he's an idiot. He's showing you he's an idiot now.
But it's tough though for the QB number one right now.
Look at him. He's stressing. We ain't even drafting.
Yo, look at him. It's tough with an open. Yo, it's an open book right now, and it's tough. He sucks. I tell you, who sucks?
It's not an open book. It's not an open book. You're asking me who's number one. Cut it.
No.
Who's your number one?
Bro, you ain't named none of the top quarterbacks.
Just did. I said I like Joe Burrow. That's a Joey.
Mm-hmm.
I like Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen or something like that. Like, and we don't know what D. Watt's going to bring to the table. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't know who he could possibly be a number one with his rushing game and throwing. Like, so like I said,
RB1 hurts.
It's tough. It's tough saying who's going to be number one right now.
Yo, crazy. You don't think Russ could be number one?
Who?
Huh?
You don't think Russ could be number one? He got a
I
lot
was
of
thinking
weapons.
Russ, but I hate Russ.
First 5 games, boy.
I was
He
thinking
about to have
Russ.
15 touchdowns. He about to have 2,000 yards. You know he go crazy the first 5 games.
Yes.
Who's saying all this and he gonna draft Teddy Bridgewater? Nobody. We ain't listening to Moose.
We got less than 1 minute left, so we're gonna wrap up here. Any shout outs other than the usual?
You know, man. Shout out Tay Rooks, man. Don't say no fights, man. No fights. You didn't get no fights. Boxing been trash.
All right, so
shout out my boy Shakur Stevenson. You heard? Shout out my boy Shakur Stevenson. Next up.
That was a good episode. Glad we finally got everybody back together. Got to talk about this crazy off season. I'm sure by the time we record again, there'll be a lot more moves. I don't know if it's gonna be any more moves as big as this. We started talking about the draft a little bit. But yeah, good episode. Hopefully we'll be back next week and we'll catch y'all then. Legal No Name.